This is a Modern Warfare 2 any percent tutorial. You may be a little bit confused why I'm in COD 4, but the reason that is that Call of Duty 4 and Call of Duty 6 share the same movement system, and we have this community-made map in Call of Duty 4 to practice strafing, and strafing is like the fundamental movement of Call of Duty 6, so I'll briefly cover how that works. But basically, the way strafing works is that we're going to be holding forward and sprinting, and then jumping, and then holding into a direction and looking in that direction as well. So I'm holding forward and left, I'll sprint jumping, or forward and right, sprint jumping. Now there are several ways to perform the strafe jumping technique. Most runners use single side strafing, where they keep going in one direction with their strafes. So that's going, this is a left single sided strafe. Other runners use a right single sided strafe. And I myself prefer to do double-sided strafing, as it is the most consistent for me. And the way that looks is just alternating between left and right in between strafes. Just to give an idea of what kind of difference you can see in strafe jumping versus regular movement, I'll do a quick run through of this level in double-sided strafing. We got a time about 16:35. No strafes at all. Is pretty slow, so you do want to practice your strafe jumps. There are some routes in the Call of Duty 6 speedrun that do require some decent movement, so it's best to boot up Call of Duty 4 and practice your jumping. And as you can see, no strafes at all. It's about 3 seconds slower over the course of this 16-second map. Now you may have also noticed that in between all of my strafe jumps, I am crouching. And the purpose for that is enemies have a reduced accuracy player based on your stance. So if you're crouching in between strafes, you're less likely to get shot. Whereas if you were to just stand up during your strafes, you are more likely to get shot. I do believe it is a minuscule difference, so it's nothing to really fret over. But I do recommend learning how to in between all of your strafes like this. Yeah, that's generally how we get around a Modern Warfare 2. You are going to want to practice this, as it is like the fundamental backbone of speedrunning basically any COD game, Advanced Warfare, and before that. Alright, so now that we're done with Modern Warfare 2, or the strafing tutorial, we're going to hop into Modern Warfare 2. Okay, before we get into Call of Duty 6 speedruns, there are a couple things we need. And a few of those are an application that's known as R-Input. And this is to reduce mouse acceleration issues that we can find in-game. And the way we enable this is by typing in the executable file for Modern Warfare 2, which is iw4sp.exe, and then we press enter. And this will automatically close, and it'll be active for your speedruns. We also have to go into our NVIDIA control panel, or whatever control panel you use for your system. I'm going to go ahead and switch the executable file for Modern Warfare 2 and go into the max frame rate and set that to 250 FPS. The reason why we use an external FPS cap is because the in-game caps are a little bit broken. So if you set your max frame rate to 250 in-game, you're more likely to get like 240 max FPS. And it's important you do this externally, as every single frame kind of matters for speeding up slow motion sequences. 250 is the max amount allowed for any percent. And we're also going to make sure VSync is turned off. I have the 3D application setting on, so it's turned off in-game. And we got to talk about the files we need for the speedrun. So this is the executable in the main folder from Modern Warfare 2. Runs are done using 1.0, which is distinguished from the current patch by the file size. This one is 3432, whereas the current patch is 3422. So for our speedruns, we do use 1.0, so I'll go ahead and put that in my main folder and replace the file here. And we have a couple more files that we use for the speedrun. Let's go back to here. We use Spanish language for runs, as it is the fastest language. There's no like major strat differences between Spanish and English, but Spanish just generally is faster all around, as it is a quick language for this game. And we use a special common file that displays English subtitles and also your velocity on screen for speedruns on PC. And the common file goes into your zone Spanish right into this folder. And you can just replace whatever file is here. Another file we need is, I think that's it. Oh yes, we use the practice mod. Like this is a community developed tool. And this is IW4SP. You can use this for practice, for dev saves, all of this, and in-game console. That will go to your Miles folder. So I Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I have it right here. And now let's hop into Modern Warfare 2 to start actually learning how this any percent route is done. So again, remember, before you boot Modern Warfare 2, you always want to be using our input and entering the game's exe. And then I get to press enter. Oh, seems to be broken. Try that. fp4sp.exe. Okay, now it's working. It's going to close by itself. And we'll no longer have mouse acceleration issues inside Modern Warfare 2. Okay, so any percent runs start on Act 1 in SSDD. Now we're going to go through a little bit of a practice range here to understand how like the basic mechanics of the game works. Nothing too important to really cover here. You can't really gain or lose time. Just pick up this gun and shoot the targets basically. Nothing too serious here. First two targets you need to hip fire. And then there's going to be an option that pops up asking if you want to invert your controls. Just press escape unless you want your controls inverted. You don't really need to sweat and close that text box as fast as possible, as this will always finish at about a minute and 25 seconds, this sequence. Next up we have three targets we have to crouch and shoot. Just like that. And we have a target that we need to wallbang. Next, we'll pick up our grenade, throw it at these targets, and that is the practice range done. We're now waiting for Foley to let us free and over to the pit. Now, coming up is going to be the first major trick of the run, or glitch, I should say. It's going to be an elevator. And the way we perform elevators in this game is with special binds known as movement binds, or move 0.1 binds. And I guess I should briefly show that in my config, what those look like. So in my config here, I do have A bound to move, or plus move left 0.1, and Z is bound to plus move right 0.1. When you toggle these keys or press these keys, it's going to move the player in very small increments depending on your frame rate. And this is basically how we get set up into positions to perform elevators. I'll hop back into Modern Warfare 2. Now that Foley's out of the way, we can do our strafe jumping over to the pit. Pick up this deagle. And this is where we're going to perform our elevator. So the way elevators work is that we're trying to be in an area between where we're crouch blocked, not crouch blocked. And the setup here is you put your crosshair around this area. I do the top tip of my crosshair in between this little thing and right here. And once you get yourself stuck in this corner, you're going to crouch and use your plus move left bind. I use this 5 times, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you're going to start sprinting and holding forward. And you do want to kind of tap this, and you'll eventually be up here. If you tap it too much, you will fall back down. So you don't want to hold it. Tapping is the best option you have. So again, move left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're just going to try and tap. Sprinting forward. Eventually, you will be elevated to the top of this geometry. It should be known that elevators are only possible in patch 1.0, so that's why we do runs on 1.0. Once you're up here, we're going to go ahead and jump over this, and then we're going to make our way into the range. Now, the pit has a bit of RNG, as you see these targets pop up everywhere. Now, these can be in a random order. We'll demonstrate what it looks like in any percent when I'm doing runs. So I'm going to do the elevator. 2, 3, 4, 5. Up here. Then will tell us to switch to our pistol, and we're going to do that. But first, I want to take a look at the pattern of these targets. So this one can be on the right side or the left side. So this one's on the right side. I know that. This one back here, if you see this target, you know he's there. If he's not here, he's going to spawn in the left corner. And the same with this target. We see that he's right here on the right, and he can also spawn on the left here. Now that we know the targets are both on the right, this is going to be what we need to focus on, along with this one. So if you do the elevator properly and get here soon enough, you can lodge yourself in this corner and switch to your pistol when done wants you to. And I'll show you what the clear looks like for this. So this target, and this target are always consistent spawns up there. And we'll see what a clear looks like for this. So I'm going to sprint, shoot those 2 targets, shoot this one up here, that target, these 2, come up here, knife that. These ones are also random up here. Try to shoot all these, come down here. These ones are also random. In total, you need to shoot 18 targets, or else you will not be able to pass and select your difficulty. I'll show that one more time. The route we do. Missed that, so I'll try to shoot him again. Right here. Knife. Shoot, shoot. And that is all the targets. Again, you only need 18. I did shoot 19. We're going to click recruit. Yes. And that is SSDD. Pretty straightforward. It is a practice level after all. And now we're on to team player, which is where things get a little bit complicated. So once we gain control here, we're going to be performing another elevator. But instead of using our move left binds that we used for SSDD, we're going to be using move right binds. And this is my setup here. I should briefly show what my video settings are. So I use whatever this happens to be, Baja. These are my graphic settings, and I do a line up here with this texture on the wall, this one dark spot. Put my crosshair on my grenade launcher, just about in the middle of that. I'm up here, crouched in this corner. We're going to be performing an elevator on this box. I'm going to put my crosshair back in this dark spot, go prone, and use my move right bind twice. 1, 2, and then I'm going to feather my sprint and forward button. And then you'll eventually elevator on top of this box. Just jump up here. And then we're up here a little bit earlier than normal. And our goal is to get across this bridge and go hit some triggers over there. But first we have to do like a big strafe jump over to this area. And there's something you got to be careful of. There's actually a... Let's see if I can show it. Unfortunately, my binds are not working, but there's a kill trigger here, where if you fall into it, you just die, and there's nothing you can do. You do the elevator again. Here, jump up here, jump, jump, and then do one big leap over here through this fence, and land out of bounds. Now we're going to be strafe jumping to the other side of the map. You do generally want to be fast here, as we have to make it back to the bridge in time to shoot some enemies. But for now, we're going up this way to go hit a trigger, which will make our Humvee we get into later. That trigger's about here. After this little white spot, you can turn around and start strafing backwards because you hit the trigger. There is no indicator, you just have to know where it is. And hopefully if we get back here in time, we're able to shoot all these enemies on the bridge and then make our way back. I'll show what that looks like in what you would expect in any percent run. So we're going to go perform our elevator, switch to our grenade launcher. Go here, dark spot, right. Either the forward key, sprint. Eventually we'll get an elevator. Jump up here. Do a leap of faith. Oh, I just survived. And you want to make sure you're strafing not near this shadow, as that shadow does have a trigger that will kill you. So just strafe around that. Come up here. And follow this line I'm taking. You don't want to be going on the road here, as there is a trigger there that will soft lock you if you hit it early. But again, we're just on our way back up here. After I pass this light spot, I'm going to hit a trigger. I can go backwards now. Now, if you make it back here in time, a bunch of enemies will spawn on this bridge. We're going to shoot them with our grenade launcher. And now that they're all dead, we can make our way back to our teammates and back in bounds. We're going to strafe jump over here and make our way back to the bridge. So this is a one-way fence. Make sure you don't get stuck. Just go across the ledge, and you can come back in bounds here. And then there's going to be an invisible barrier that we're stuck on. And right after this invisible barrier, at 1 minute and 39 seconds, we're able to sprint forward as it comes down, hit a trigger, come back up, and we can hop inside this vehicle. Now, one side effect of hitting those triggers later on is that our Humvee starts moving immediately. But there's going to be an explosion that comes down and blows up this building, along with this vehicle here. And this vehicle actually kills you in this route. And it was like a big issue we had for the longest time. Is that whenever we got to this point, we just died. And we were not able to complete the level. We're soft locked. But it turns out, if you just shoot this vehicle, it gains invulnerability frames. And you don't die once the explosion goes off. And we're just going through the team player ride. This is a little bit of an auto-scroller. There's nothing we really need to do, so I will speed up through this section. And nothing interesting is going on. You don't have any, that's it, the word I'm looking for, influence over this section. There is a chance you can die, which is a bit unfortunate. Coming up around this corner, there's going to be a truck that comes around. We're going to go ahead and shoot the sentry gunner on the back. And we can pretty much just ride all the way till the end. This vehicle up ahead can kill you if it blows up. So generally, it's best to just blow it up yourself so it doesn't go boom on you. And then here is where team player goes from 0 to 100. I'm going to make a save here. So after we're set free from the Humvee when we get blown up, we're going to do some strafe jumps and throw a flashbang on this wall. So we gain control a little bit earlier by overriding the concussion. Again, look down, do some strafe jumps, throw a flash on this wall, flash ourselves, come up here, shoot this guy, shoot the enemies in this room. And then we're going to make our way through the school. Oh, that's pretty unlucky that there's a grenade there. I've never seen that before. That's quite interesting. Alright, try that again. Shoot this guy, come up the stairs, shoot any enemies in this room that can get in your way. On top this picnic table, make our way through the school. Let's try to stun those guys. We're going to switch our grenade launcher and shoot it on that wall. And continue going through the school with this route. Now, there's a chance you can get blocked by enemies here. But generally you should be fine making it through there. And we're going to make our way down here. Try to shoot that enemy. so we can run past him. Now the trigger to end the level is actually right here, so you don't need to sweat trying to get through this alleyway. As long as you like bonk into this wall, the level will end, and Shepard will do all his dialogue. All right, now that we're on cliffhanger, there's going to be a little bit of a difficult strafe jump right at the start of the level. As you can see, we're on this cliff here. Soap is kind of in our way, and we need to get around him to go use our ice picks on that wall over there. The way this works is that we're going to uncrouch during this white screen, hold forward, and do a strafe jump around Soap, and then another strafe jump to get to this cliff. Now my timing is 2 when I count 1 Mississippi, 2, and that's when I know how to strafe jump. So during this white screen, I'm going to uncrouch, 1 Mississippi, 2, do a right strafe jump, and then use these ice picks. 1 Mississippi, 2, right strafe jump, ice pick the wall. Now we're just going to climb this wall. One important thing to note is you don't want to be looking around, like looking left and right or anything like that, as if you look anywhere, it basically loses time on each individual ice pick. So just try to keep your mouse still during this section to ensure you don't go through any major time loss. Alright, once we get to the top of this hill, we're gonna jump. Just hold forward and jump. You don't want to strafe jump here, as you can miss the trigger that clings you to that wall. And when Soap comes to save us, we want to be holding right mouse button to have our ice pick on the wall, and then we'll keep climbing the wall normally. Once we get up top, we're going to climb this wall, climb this one. There's going to be 2 enemies around this corner. In my runs, I don't kill these guys, but generally, if you do kill them, you're more likely to get good dialogue later on. But it's a bit more random if you keep them alive. We'll see if I get it. Unlucky, we didn't get it. So that means that we're going to have an extra line of dialogue later. But that's okay. Also hop on top of that Jeep, come around here. There's going to be a group of enemies around this corner. Sometimes you'll get stuck on them, sometimes they'll let you go through. But we're going to keep strafe jumping through this level and make our way, plant this C4, turn this way, and make our way to the hangar where we are going to group up with Soap. You can just ignore all the enemies here. If you're too slow with your strafe jumping, these enemies might follow you, and the game will make you kill them. Now, before we get down here, we're going to be doing a manipulation on our boy Soap by throwing a grenade at the floor to make him go to this door a little bit sooner that he opens. So the way that works is that we're going to jump down here, throw a grenade roughly this direction looking straight down, and then if you get lucky, Soap will go straight to the door and open it, just like that. So we're going to do that again, look down, throw a grenade. Now, when Soap opens this door, when he touches the door handle, I'm going to throw a grenade in this corner and try to run past him here. If you're too slow, an enemy is going to spawn here that you have to kill. But after that, we're just going to come up here and go collect the ACS upstairs. Now that we got the ACS, we're going to come over here and find out that we're compromised. And we're going to be doing an insta-swap here. On Spanish, the timing for the dialogue here is as soon as you see Major Petrov say 5 in the subtitles, we're going to click our heartbeat sensor, which is currently out right now, by the way. You want to make sure your heartbeat sensor is out. And then once you see the dialogue 5 pop up, we're going to toggle the heartbeat sensor again, and then hold mouse 1. And this is going to perform an insta-swap to our C4 and detonate it a little bit sooner than if you were to just manually switch to your C4. So let's see what that looks like. 5, hold mouse 1, C4 insta-swap, run down here, and then we're just going to run past these enemies here. I take the right route, some runners take the left route. Doesn't really matter. We're going to be running to the snowmobile section now. There is a chance you soft lock here with Soap teleporting away. It is kind of rare, so you don't see it very often, but we'll see what happens. Didn't get it. Soap came down the hill immediately. There's going to be a group of enemies that come down here, 5 of them. You need to kill 3 for this section to progress. And these snowmobiles will come down the hill. So let's see what that looks like. 1, 2, 3. Snowmobiles coming down the hill. And we can just shoot these guys. Doesn't really matter if you shoot them or not. Just shoot this guy here. And we're going to get ready to hop on the snowmobile. Once you see the snowmobile move, like this, how it will hitch to the right, you're going to hold forward and interact. And then you'll be able to get on the snowmobile instantly. Hold forward and interact. And now we're going. And we're just going to follow this basic snowmobile route. We are going to be going through the trees here. Might be a little bit tricky starting off. And there's also a helicopter that's kind of roaming around that can shoot us and boost us. And that can either give us great boosts or really, really bad boosts. Could go through those trees and through the forest here. Just maneuver your way between all these trees. It isn't too difficult on campaign. But if you were to try to perform that route in Spec Ops, it's going to be a lot more difficult since the Spec Ops snowmobile speed is significantly increased. Alright, so whenever these snowmobile guys get in front of you, it's best to just kill them, as you can die here if you get shot by the helicopter and shot by the guys on the back of the snowmobiles as well, like this. And red bar, so if I get shot here I will die. But luckily it seems like we're fine. Gonna make our way down this hill. Now there is a little bit of a skip up ahead. The game is going to try to put us into like a automatic sequence where it takes over control and drags us to the plane. So we take the normal route. We just lose control, and this ending is pretty slow as the game slowly takes you to the trigger that ends the level. But we can actually skip that trigger and end the level a little bit sooner. And what that looks like is by taking this route in between these two buildings here, and then we can hit the trigger and the level will end a little bit sooner. Alright, so this is no Russian. We don't do no Russian any percent as it is an optional mission, so we always skip this by pressing yes for the 2 top options. Now we're straight into takedown. For takedown, just make sure you crouch at the start of the level, as if you are uncrouched, you will die. And coming up is a pretty big skip. We have Rojas's right-hand man. I think that's who it is. We have to shoot in the leg. Normally we have to run around the corner, chase after him, and then shoot him to take him down. But we do have a lineup to kill him a little bit faster. Once we get to the vehicle, you want to double swap your weapon and then aim down sights. And then aim about right here under this second little opening in the window. I aim right here for my runs. And then you're just going to hold mouse 1. See what that looks like. Get over to the car. Double swap. Just hold mouse 1 right here. And now he's down. So now we're going to go into this section. You can do some fancy movement by doing a bunny hop on top there. And then this is the basic route for takedown. Takedown is not that scary of a level. There is a chance you can get stuck on enemies quite a few times, which is a little bit annoying. But we'll see how that works here. There's going to be a dog coming around this corner. Make sure you shoot him. Enemy is usually in this stairs. We're going to switch to our grenade launcher. Shoot that back wall so we can make it past these guys. I guess that part is a little bit risky. Let's showcase that again. I guess we did get melee there, unfortunately. Let's just shoot that. Shoot the guys on the stairs. Switch to your grenade launcher. Shoot the back wall. All the enemies are dead now. Jump over that wall. Continue strafe jumping. If you don't manage your stamina well enough, you will run out of stamina on top of these stairs. So that would just be a little bit of practice. When you come up these stairs, make sure you stick to the right side, or else you may jumble around a bit. Stairs in this game are really bad, and you can easily get stuck on them. So the way this ending works is it will try to put you in a slow motion sequence if you just look at our boy here. So in order to avoid that slow motion sequence, what we want to do is look away. That'll skip the slow motion sequence, and that is takedown. This is generally a pretty fun level. This is one of my favorite levels. It is really movement heavy. But that is Act 1. Good Act 1 times can range at about the sub 15 pace. Now we're on to probably the most complicated level in the entire game, which is Wolverines. Now the way Wolverines works is that up above us there is this AC-130 in the air. I don't know if you can see that, but it's up there. And we're eventually going to be taking control of that AC-130. Now this AC-130 is always on the exact same pattern based on when you enter the level. But now we're going to get into the route through Wolverines. You do need to generally be really fast with this route. But in order to make it a little bit easier for yourself, you can strafe jump to about here, and then turn around and throw a grenade to make Foley be a little more lenient on your timing up ahead. As this entire level is pretty much based on Foley's movement. So you just want to make sure you're just a little bit faster than him. Going to continue strafe jumping through this area. Ahead is the alley, which is very, very dangerous. Try to not get meleeed by these guys. Just come around this corner. One more enemies here we got to be careful of. Now it's really important that you do not kill any of these enemies. If you kill these enemies, there is a chance you don't get north side dialogue, and you will have to kill additional people once you get on top of the diner here. So we're going to follow this route inside the diner and climb on top of this ladder. Once we get to the top of this ladder, you're going to see some dialogue happen, hopefully, which is incoming north side. If you don't get incoming north side from Dunn, you can try to kill a few enemies with the MK14 here. And hopefully you get Dunn's dialogue after that. If you don't, it's basically a reset, honestly. I don't know how to back up this, so if I don't get Dunn's dialogue in my runs, I just instantly reset. What we're going to do here is go back and show the full sequence. So if you do get dialogue, you're going to pick up the claymores, pick up that sentry gun, and we're going to make our way to Burger Town. Place our sentry gun here. We're going to try to kill all the enemies in Burger Town. We're going to come up here. Sometimes there's an enemy coming out that truck behind you. This time there's not. Now we're just going to go... Oh, there's an enemy. We're going to come down here. We're going to start planting claymores. We're going to plant one claymore facing in this direction. And this is the kill spawns later on. And one claymore facing this direction. Make sure you're fully in this corner when you plant the claymore, as if you're slightly not in the corner, you actually plant your claymore in the sink here, and it will not detonate and kill the enemies. So make sure you're in the corner when you plant this, and not slightly over here to get us stuck in the sink. Let's see what that looks like at full speed. Over here, claymore, corner, claymore. And we're gonna come out here, grab the sentry gun, and make our way back behind Joe's diner. And we got the line we need, which is looks like Ivan's had enough. So we're gonna come plant our sentry gun up on top of this hedge. That'll be useful for later. Then we're gonna come through this window, pick up the stinger, pick up the AK, pick up the sentry or the predator missile that spawns there. I need to talk about DPI and its like use in the run. So I have a DPI toggle. Just bring that up. So I play on 800 and 6900. I also have a toggle to change my FPS endgame, which is, where is it? Toggle com underscore max FPS 060. I see my face is a little bit in the way, so I'll put it up here. And basically, when you press whatever button this is assigned to, your max FPS will change from whatever value you set it to, and 60 here. The reason why it's set to 0 is because, again, I am using the external cap with NVIDIA control panel. So in reality, this 0 is actually set to whatever my cap is in NVIDIA control panel. Whenever you're controlling Predator missiles in Modern Warfare 2, you can move the Preds a little bit faster the lower your FPS and the higher your DPI. So that's why I use a DPI switch and low FPS for these Predator sequences. Back to the game, I just pulled my Pred. And I should specify, when you pick up this Pred, you want to run to at least past this curb, as there's going to be a trigger here that will destroy the debris on top of Joe's Diner, or Nate's Diner. So we picked up the Pred, go over here, Predator missile, shoot these 2 BTRs. And then there's going to be 2 enemies that come around this corner. I didn't get those spawns this time, so I got lucky. And we're going to start planting claymores here. Claymore, 2 claymore. We're also waiting for some dialogue that always get to say that he's with our teammates, which is that dialogue that just happened. Private, give me a sit rep. Gonna do a 3rd claymore and another claymore. Now, I kind of failed here, but you do want to kill most of the enemies on the map with the Pred missile before all this dialogue that fully says finishes. So we'll try that again, but a little bit faster. I'm gonna plant my claymores. 1 claymore, claymore, 3 claymore. Switch to my Pred. I'm gonna shoot the guys over here. I'm gonna grab another Pred. Shoot the guys over here. Now you want to hold your Pred until Foley says go, 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 which is now. And you're going to wait for this text to fade out. And then you're either going to cancel the Pred or shoot the Pred on any remaining enemies on the map. Generally, we want 0 enemies to be alive, as they can be a hassle to deal with later on. So I see that there's an enemy here and an enemy up here. I'm going to choose to kill the enemy who's at Burger Town. And then we can continue planting our claymores here. And these claymores are for enemies later on. Claymore here. Coming to the gas station. 2 more here. The reason why we were in the Pred until the go, go, go dialogue happened is it's just going to prevent additional spawns from occurring that can mess us up. So make sure all these enemies are dead. Up on top of this car. Now we're going to be manipulating the spawns based on where we are on the map. So there are 3 spawns where enemies waves will occur. One's over at Taco To Go. One is behind this bank. And the one we're trying to manipulate is behind Joe's Diner, where we planted our claymores. So because we're standing on top of this vehicle, we're actually preventing the spawns behind Joe's Diner. So once Foley gets into Burger Town and secures Raptor, we're going to look for either the bank or taco spawns to occur. We see Taco, we're going to shoot our Pred right here. And then just to secure, make sure all the enemies are dead, we'll shoot a grenade launcher. And for Taco To Go, we'll stand here behind this broken debris. And then we're going to destroy the bank spawns, which are guaranteed to occur after you get Taco To Go. And then as soon as that Pred goes off, you have to hurry up and run forward and pull your Predator missile. If you're not fast enough, what's going to happen is that your Predator is actually going to be shot down, just like this. And that only occurs when you're too slow. So it's important that immediately after your second Pred, sprint forward, and you just spam that Predator missile button to open it immediately. So again, if we get taco spawns first, we run over here, do our second Pred on bank, and then immediately run forward and pull a Pred. If we get bank spawns first, after we kill those spawns, we're going to run over here Make sure you don't go past this van this way, or else enemies can spawn over there. But yeah, bank spawns first. Come over here, pull pred, shoot taco to go, and then run forward and pull pred again to deal with the last spawns. Let's see what that looks like at full speed. Standing here, I'm either going to get bank spawns or taco spawns. Let's see what happens. Raptor is secure. Spawns I get are taco to go. Shoot my pred. I went the wrong way, but just come here. Pull pred again. Next spawns are bank. You gotta turn my pred to shoot those guys. Shoot back here in the back left, and you should get most of them. Try to pull out your pred immediately. Now looks like we're good. We pulled it out fast enough. This is where you're gonna need a timer. Right now, we manipulated the spawns to occur at Joe's Diner. And after the last claymore you hear goes off, we're going to wait 11 seconds after that and then shoot our Predator missile to go destroy a helicopter. That's a little bit far in the level. 11 seconds after I hear the final claymore go off, I'll be shooting my pred on the first boost. It's 449. I'm going to do it about 459. We're going to wait for the helicopter to spawn in. Oh, it was a little bit too quick there. Try that again. 414, 425. 2, 3, 4, 5. Helicopter should spawn here. Boost it. 32, so that means at about 51 seconds, I'll pull my next pred for the final helicopter. I already forgot what my timing was. I think it was 52. And for the final helicopter, depending on what your cycle is, here it is. Shoot that, and that's basically all Wolverines. There is one more time save up ahead. And the way it works is that we're going to be skipping dialogue by overlapping it with some additional dialogue. So once we see this first vehicle come over this little hill, or this little barrier, we're going to press our Predator missile button. And that's going to make Overlord say the Predator is offline. And that's going to skip some dialogue. And we can just wait here, and that's Wolverines in its entirety. It is a very complicated level. I'll definitely have to show what a basic attempt looks like. But yeah, that is Wolverines. Let me show this all at once. It is a very complicated level. We're going to go right from the top. I will be showing the grenade route, which again is the safe route for any percent runs. So it makes Foley a little bit slower. We're going to do about 4 strafe jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn around. Throw a nade to make Foley run backwards. You can see him running backwards on the minimap. Now we're going to go all the way to Nate's Diner. Again, I have to emphasize, do not kill any enemies, as it can mess up some dialogue later on. So make sure you just go past these guys without getting meleeed if you can help it. Again, don't kill anyone. Come past these guys. And make sure you go on this side of Nate's Diner. You may think it's faster to go through Nate's Diner, but there's actually a trigger out here that we have to hit with this route. We're going to come up here. Claymore, sentry gun. Hopefully we get north side dialogue. We got it. Perfect. We're going to come over here. Sentry gun. Shoot all the enemies in Burger Town and on top of Burger Town. It's a little bit scary. I didn't get all the spawns I wanted. So these claymores might be destroyed by random enemies. And that is just one of the things that can go wrong in this level, among many other. But now that we've planted those 2 claymores, we're going to make our way back here. We're going to get the Ivan's had enough dialogue. That tells us we can progress. If you don't get that dialogue, fortunately your run is dead. Grab the Stinger. Grab the AK. Pick up this Predator missile. Jump over this curb. Hold Pred. I'm going to switch my DPI and my FPS so I can easily control the Predator missile. I didn't get the spawns out here. I'm looking to shoot all these enemies. I'm going to use a Claymore here. Right here. Right here. Make sure no one's coming around the corner. Nope. Could shoot all these enemies. Make sure you're in the pred as the go 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 dialogue is happening. After the go 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 dialogue fades out, you can get out of your pred or shoot any other enemies alive and continue planting your claymores in these positions to destroy all the spawns later on. Come through this window, knife it, claymore here, and a backup claymore here. Now, fully go to go secure Raptor at the Burger Town. On top of this van. And be prepared to look at Taco or the bank, depending on where the spawns are. I got Taco. This is a really tricky pred to hit. Let's see if we got it. We got all the kills, so that means bank is going to be the next spawn. I'm going to aim at the top left. Run forward. Full pred immediately as soon as I can. Now 11 seconds after I hear the final claymore go off, I'm going to shoot my pred, but not boost it. So I'm going to do it about 4:14, 4:15. I'm going to shoot my pred for the first heli. 12, 13, 14, 15. Alright, the helicopter's going to spawn here. When I see it spawn, I'm going to boost it. 18 seconds after that, which was 4:23, 33, 43. I'm going to shoot my next pred at 4:42 on the final heli while I'm standing generally in this area. 4:42. Full pred. Boost it as soon as you can because your pred will get destroyed. Make sure you shoot this helicopter. And that is essentially Wolverines once again, but all at once. We're to come over here and wait for our allies' vehicle to go on top of this barricade here. And once the first ally vehicle is on top of the barricade, we're going to press our Predator key, which makes Overlord tell us some dialogue that the AGMs are offline. And that's going to skip some dialogue. And now we just wait here for the level to end. Again, Wolverine's a very complicated level. You are going to run into a ton of issues learning this. Okay. Yeah, that's all you have to do. Can't get in this vehicle. There is no benefit to it, but sitting next to your pal, whoever that might be. Hey, Hammond. Alright, if you manage to get past Wolverines, congratulations. You are now on the easier side of Act 2, which is the movement side. This is Hornet's Nest. Start off Hornet's Nest. Going to shoot one bullet. Make your teammates not get in your way. And we're just going to strafe jump up this hill. And then strafe jump past these enemies. There's going to be a truck that's going to burst through this wall. Try not to get hit by that and continue strafe jumping down here. You can use scroll wheel to maybe get a bunny hop down this hill. I didn't, unfortunately. Bunny hops are generally pretty random, whether or not you get them. I try not to go for them very often. But we're going to be continuing to run through this area. Coming up ahead is the market. A safe route for market is taking this right path here. This is the path you should be taking. You can take a much riskier left path, but I don't recommend doing that for your first any percent runs. Your teammates are going to try to get in your way, so you can just shoot in front of them, prevent them from slowing you down. As we round this corner, we're going to pick up this AK. There's going to be 4 enemies on top here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shoot them all. This door is going to open, and an enemy is going to come out of here. You should kill him. There is a chance that he decides to not die, and you're going to be losing time later on, waiting for some dialogue. But after you hop on top of this door, you're just going to run all the way to the end of here, and hit a trigger. Let's see it all again. AK. There's going to be 4 enemies on top of here. 2, 3, 4. When you hear that cue right there, that lets you know you can jump on top of the door. Now we can jump on top of this door and go to the end of this section. Now we're waiting for some dialogue for Soap to say. If he doesn't say the dialogue in time, you can jump right here in this corner without dying, and eventually you're just going to be teleported to this sequence once the dialogue occurs. That's why I recommend shooting those enemies down there before you jump on top of the roof, just to like give yourself a better chance at being able to progress. Alright, so here's the next movement sequence. We don't have a weapon here, and it's just basically all movement, which is a very fun portion of the level. I honestly love this part. We're just gonna go run through the rest of this. The geometry here is very annoying to deal with. You are going to get stuck on a bunch of little pieces of geometry. Once you get over here, you can just hop down here and slide down this. You sometimes might get stuck on that. You sometimes might get a big speed boost. Just make sure you input jump at the end there, and you'll be teleported to this ladder. That's Hornet's Nest. Super straightforward, easy level. One of my favorites. Next up is Exodus. Not a straightforward level. Kind of complicated. So to start this level off, we're going to run straight to the end of the level. Now this is a giant escort mission, where we just have to get Foley to the very end of the map, so he can tell us to pick up a briefcase, which will then end the level. Foley is slow, so we're going to be attempting to manipulate Foley, so we're able to end the level a little bit sooner. There is a sentry gun up ahead that we want to shoot before it shoots us. Destroyed that sentry gun. Now I can continue running past it. And again, all we're doing here is just going to the end of the level. Up ahead, we're going to be performing an out-of-bounds sequence to skip a trigger that we're going to be using later on to manipulate Foley to end the level a little bit sooner. But next up is a little bit of a difficult out-of-bounds sequence. There's a lot of enemies here. I'm going to mantle this, hop on top here, climb this. I'm going to go here and heal a bit. If you don't get shot here, you can go for this jump immediately. We're going to be jumping to an invisible... Oh, I got a hitch there, unfortunately. We're going to be jumping on top of this invisible barrier, and then jumping onto these hedges, and then making our way through this portion of the level. Let me show what that looks like a little bit more in detail. I'm going to be putting on no target so I can show this off a bit better, so I'm not bullied by these enemies. Once you get here, you can look here and just press jump, and you'll mantle this hedge. There is an invisible wall in front of us. Let me see if I can show that with our commands here, with the practice tool. Actually, we can't see the invisible wall. Interesting. Anyway, there is an invisible wall. If you just hold after you mantle, hold forward and right and jump. Or I should say jump and then hold forward and right. Now you're on top of an invisible wall. You can jump over here and then do a strafe or a left strafe jump to get on top of this ledge. So a left strafe jump, hold forward, you should land up here. And then you're able to come over here, and our goal is to skip a trigger that goes across this entire field by landing on a barrier in front of us. It is invisible. See if I can show what that looks like. Here it is right here. Our goal is to land on this small barrier from the top of this house. If you land on this barrier, we're able to fall down and land on this hedge without dying. So if you are being shot like I am, you can just come up here, hide to take cover, and then do the strafe jump. Land on this hedge, and then make your way to the rest of the level. There are some enemies here, you can just ignore them and go through. We're going to use our laser and laser this golf course here. There is going to be an airstrike that comes down, and if you're standing over here, you will die. The way we avoid death is if you do the laser, missed it, laser the golf course. You can actually stand crouched by touching this golf cart and crouching, and you will survive this. And then after the airstrike lands, we can continue to the end of the level. So again, once we get to the end of the level, it won't actually finish. All we are doing is trying to manipulate Foley by using that trigger we skipped earlier on. We're going to go into this room, walk a little bit inside, look at the briefcase, and then turn back around. Now we're going to go all the way to the other side of the map and hit that trigger that we skipped earlier on. As you can see, Foley is all the way back there still. This is what I mean by saying Foley is really slow. Normally we have to wait for him to get to the end of the level, or we're allowed to finish it. But by backtracking like this and doing the OTOA sequence like we did, we're going to be getting the dialogue where he talks about the briefcase, which is right there. Ramirez, get that briefcase or what's left of it. Now we're going to be forming our next OTOA sequence. We're going to hop on top here, this lamp, strafe jump to these hedges, jump on top this window, and then jump up here. This is what it looks like in full speed. Okay. Now we can come up here and do another OTOA sequence on these barriers. It's a little bit tricky. I don't recommend doing this route. There is a little bit of an easier way to do it. And from here, we just go to the end of the level and touch the briefcase. I do believe that there is a route where you can go like this. Just follow this barrier. And once this ends, you can just jump over here. And then you can just slide down here. And safely make your way to the end of the level. So that is the safer route for that OTOA sequence. But again, because Foley did his briefcase dialogue, we can run all the way back to that room that we were in and pick up that briefcase to end the level. And just like that, the level will end eventually. Fun fact, I actually turn the TVs on in this room. Break this fan. Break this TV. Alright. Okay, so this is easy day. There is quite a long cutscene at the start of the level. So, if you're running and need to take a brief break, this is one of the best times to do it. Well, it's okay for a break. So we're going to go through this long sequence where we're going through the water here. I'm just speeding this up. Since there's no player influence in this section. Now that we're coming through the water. The first strat for this level actually occurs at the very start. So for this water sequence, I want to be swimming diagonally. And then go melee this man. Swimming diagonally is just slightly faster than just swimming straight forward to go melee him. So now we need to talk about stamina management. We're going to be up here with our teammates. And make sure you shoot this guy. Now, after you shoot this guy, we got to go up this long staircase. And the way stamina works in this game is that the grenade launcher is considered like its own type of weapon, has its own stats. I do believe it is 190 G speed with 4 seconds of stamina. So you don't actually have enough stamina to make it all the way to the top of this staircase. But if we start sprinting with our assault rifle, which has 7 seconds of stamina, and then switch to our grenade launcher, we actually get the speed of the grenade launcher, but the stamina of the assault rifle, as long as we keep sprinting. So let's see what that looks like. Shoot this guy, sprint, switch to your grenade launcher while still sprinting, and make your way to the top of these stairs. Switch back to your assault rifle, and breach this doorway. The way breaches work is that we want to shoot and reload immediately on every single breach as it skips the slow-mo sequence. Then after our reload, we'll double swap and then shoot the enemies in this room. That's what this looks like here. We're going to shoot a reload, double swap, shoot these 4 enemies, and then make our way to the top of these stairs. If you're fast enough, you can actually get past your teammates. There is some random dialogue that can occur here that will either gain or lose you time. There is no influence the player has over it. We're going to do the same thing for this breach. Shoot, reload immediately, double swap, and then shoot the enemies in this room. For this run, I pick up the USP in the corner. Now we're going to be doing a head bounce to skip over this fence a little bit early. And my setup for the head bounce is I'll put my teammate slightly next to this yellow pole. And then we'll come over here, plant the C4, turn around, do a head bounce on top of our teammate. Our goal here is to bounce on his head and get to the other side of this fence. It can be a little bit tricky, as it is pretty finicky, as you can see. It does help if you shoot in front of your teammate to stop him from moving, and then attempt it. But once you're on this side, you're going to plant a claymore that's facing about here. That's going to prevent a domino effect from occurring, which gets you detected up here. Since we did that skip, we actually have no target enabled, which makes all the enemies unaware of us, basically. Now we're just going to keep making our way through here. Don't kill anyone in this section if you can help it, as you'll get some additional spawns up here. Now we're going to breach this door. Immediately after the breach, we're going to shoot, switch to our grenade launcher, rush out here, shoot this helicopter, and then make our way up to the helipad. Now I have a bit of a placebo strat here where I just sit in this corner and shoot my gun to make Soap full speed, as you can see him doing it on the minimap. And the way teammates work on some levels is that if you're not looking at them, they sometimes speed hack over to where they need to go. And this level is like one of the big ones. And that is Easy Day. I'm going to show you a different variation of what can happen on this level. So, after we do this auto bounce sequence, where we hop on top of our teammate's head, I can perform it without messing it up. Go here. I'm just going to do the basic route again. Now, the dialogue that occurs after this can be a bit random. That's really important to know. So there is a different strat you have to do depending on what dialogue you get. So I got pretty delayed dialogue here. So I know that I'm able to do the strat I normally do in any percent, which is breaching the door immediately. But let's say something like this happens, where you get super fast dialogue, and then Soap says, Plan B, let's do it, before you breach this door. This is what you're going to do different. So he said Plan B, and I'm just breaching the door now. What I'm going to do is stand here, wait for my teammates to get into position on the bottom left of my minimap right here. Once they're in position, I'm able to cross this doorway in front of me, and that's going to make our teammates do the little full speed thing again. If I were to just do what I normally did, the previous attempt, it actually delays our teammates by quite a lot. So yes, this is what we're supposed to do if we get Plan B before the door. We wait here. Once our teammates are in position down here, we can cross this doorway and do everything the same as we did previously. Not to there. Got to run past here. Blow up this helicopter. And then go back to this helipad and do our little placebo strat where I shoot this over here to make soap go a little bit faster. I didn't get it there. But that is the 2 different routes you have to know for what to do inside this building. For whether or not you get plan B before the final breach or plan B after the final breach. Yeah, that's gulag, or sorry, that's easy day. That's all there is to this level. If you don't destroy that helicopter like I did earlier, it'll actually shoot down the helicopter you're in and you will fail. So make sure you shoot that down. That is the rest of the level. Next up is Gulag, which is another extremely complicated level. Hopefully we get through it. So any hitches? This entire beginning sequence is an auto-scroller up until you get to the Gulag itself. I'm just going to use time scale to get there a little bit quicker. So we're going to be gaining control of our weapon here, and there are 3 enemies on top of this tower. You want to shoot these enemies as fast as you can, but your aiming is a little bit off while you're in the helicopter, so you got to aim a little bit different based on like your velocity in the heli. I'm going to shoot to the right of this guy, and then just shoot these 2 guys here. Make sure you kill them all before you run out of ammo, or else you will lose time. Now, the next 2 enemies that we need to kill are inside this building. That door just opened. They're going to walk around, and we'll shoot those 2. Now, you can actually do a little bit of a skip here. Instead of waiting for them to come out. As soon as you see the ready dialogue, you can try to shoot them through the tarp. I missed it, unfortunately, but I'll show you my lineup I do. Oops. So I line up the left side of my crosshair with the level right here. Got shot. So the level right here, I line up the left side of my crosshair with that, as you can see on the left side. And then the top line of my crosshair, I line up with this left of the box where the light is. So let's see if I can show that off by shooting them through the tarp. We got it. We shot them both behind it. And now we're able to do this sequence a little bit faster. Oh, thank you for that, Who's. That's good to know. So coming up is a very tricky sequence up ahead. There's going to be a lot of enemies once we land around this corner, and it's very easy to die. But the first thing we want to do once we're about to land is actually kill one of our teammates. And this is going to be used for a little bit of a skip later on. So we're going to headshot our boy Apex here on the left of the helicopter. Now we're going to make our way inside the gulag. Now the enemies out here are very dangerous. You will lose plenty of runs. You could potentially shoot enemies here. I don't myself. Go right to the bottom of here, these stairs, and make our way into the armory. I actually have really bad luck here. And I had additional spawns that block dialogue that should be occurring. I'm going to show what you should do most of the time if that occurs. So because we got bad RNG, we weren't able to go into the armory like I normally do in any percent. So I know this is a bad seed, and I'll try to show what you can do to back it up. So because there are enemies down here, I'm going to shoot my grenade launcher and shoot it again. So now, Ghost should give us some good dialogue. Shoot these 2 guys. Come down here, shoot these guys. And now, this is going to be a very complicated section. So I'm looking at my minimap for teammate to spawn here. And I'm also waiting in this area while facing away from the center security room. If you're looking at the security room, your teammates sometimes will not spawn. So this is why I'm looking away. And I'm also positioned right here before these boxes, which is really important because there's a trigger here that we're going to walk up to make our teammates come downstairs like you see them doing right now. Now we actually got the 2 teammates who we needed, and they only spawned there because we killed our ally later on, but we did not get Ghost to spawn in this room. Here's how I do that all together. Let me go ahead and load a save. So we're back here. Reload our grenade launcher. Shoot these enemies. Stand here. I see the minimap. And then once I see my first teammate spawn, I'm going to walk to this box while still facing in this direction. And if you get lucky enough, Ghost did spawn for me. I can tell because he's the little triangle here that goes to sit on the computer upstairs. So I know that everything is going smoothly right now. Now that I know that my teammate is also coming downstairs, you can do a little bit of a strat where you try to do a grenade boost to make him come downstairs a little quicker. We'll run that back. Oops. Shoot these guys. I see the first spawn, come here, go spawned. Gonna go over here, throw a grenade over here, and the teammate should run through this door. You don't have to do that grenade strat. Sometimes when you do that grenade strat, the teammate like runs somewhere else. So generally, you should just not do it for your any percent runs and just try to focus on clearing the enemies that are over here on the minimap across the hallway. Well, let's see what that looks like. First spawn, walk to this corner, go spawned in, and now I'm going to focus on clearing these enemies. You don't want to go past this area, you just want to stand on top of this box and just make sure you clear everybody here. Alright, everyone's clear. Get away from my teammate to pass me. Fortunately, he got shot. There was one guy alive here. Now that that guy's dead, once you walk up here, a bunch of enemies are going to spawn in this room. So what we want to do is actually use a grenade launcher to shoot them. So shoot this guy, grenade launcher the enemies in this room, and shoot anyone else alive there. So once all these enemies are dead, we're going to be trying to do a manipulation with our teammate here to push him through this doorway. The way it works is you get him stuck in this corner, and I'm going to be using a special keybind, which is plus strafe. And the way plus strafe works is when you have it held and you move your mouse, your movement on the player becomes like an analog stick, where you move based on like how you move your mouse. And the lower your FPS is, the more influence you have over your movement. So I'm on 60 right now and I can move pretty fast. But if I go to 250, I don't have as much influence. And your DPI also matters here as well. So I'm going to be using plus strafe and 60 FPS with high DPI to try and push my teammate through this doorway. It is a bit finicky, but we'll see if we can show it off. Shoot this enemy. Shoot the enemies in this room. We're going to push our teammate. Hopefully he stands up for us just like that. And we can try to push him through this door using plus strafe, 60 FPS, and high DPI. Eventually, if we get it right, he will go through this door. Now, from here, we're waiting for the second set of bars right here to touch this doorway on that gate. Once the second set of bars touch that doorway like that, we're going to throw a grenade here, wait for our teammate to run, do another grenade to boost our teammate a little bit further down, and he will be hitting some triggers for us that we can use to progress to this next portion of the level. Now that we're here, we're going to be doing a strat called stair skip. Now this is kind of complicated to explain. A lot of runners do this skip differently. I use plus strafe myself to perform this skip. You might find it easier to just do a different setup without plus strafe. But I'll showcase what I do. I'm going to stand here, line up in the middle of this staircase, and then I'm going to do plus strafe to go left and then up after I jump. So I get a plus strafe, jump, and then left and up, just like that, and I'm able to get on top of this staircase and climb back up. Again, I go to the middle of the staircase. I'm on 60 FPS and high DPI. Holding plus strafe, I'm gonna do left, up, and then I get a jump somewhere in that. I usually jump about right here on this dark spot. Let's try to do that again. Got it. Now that we're up here. And if you do it fast enough, we're able to do an out of bounds sequence back here. We're able to go through this and hop on top of this to do an out of bounds sequence. Now I am at a bit of a bad timing, so I'll show what that looks like all at once. So we're gonna go here, do our stair skip, climb these stairs. And we've got to be really fast here. Up top here, run through that door, up here, up across this, run. Knife this guy, place a claymore here, hold the grenade launcher. When you hear the grenade claymore go off, shoot your grenade launcher there. You'll shoot 2 enemies. Now we're able to run past these enemies and perform an out-of-bounds sequence. Now this part is a little bit tricky. We're going to sprint off this ledge, and once we see ourselves going down, we're going to hold back. So I'm going down, I'm going to hold back, now I'm stuck here, and I'm able to go through this wall and be out of bounds. We're going to go all the way to the bottom of the gulag, and just run as far as we can to the end. If you don't want to get this first try, alternatively, you can do a different strategy where you go around. This is called walked-in stair skip. And it's a lot more lenient on your out-of-bounds movement. Now we're down here. And this section will only progress once we complete stair skip successfully. So we're up here. We're going to hit a trigger that starts it. And then do our out-of-bounds sequence. Come here. On this ledge. Follow this line. Run down there. Don't jump. Knife this guy. Claymore. Grenade launcher. When the claymore goes off, shoot your grenade launcher here. You're going to kill 2 more enemies. Now dialogue is going to start. We're going to go to this rope. Run off. Hold backwards. Go through this wall. Jump down here. Now we're going to run as far as we can in the gulag to reduce their enemy spawns later on. So just keep on running this way. Now, if you have decent enough movement, you should be able to get to the end over here and spawn these enemies so we don't have to deal with them later. And now that we did that entire out-of-bounds sequence, we are teleported back to this rope. But after we get off this rope, we're going to be concussed. And we're forced into a prone animation. And if you remember from Team Player, you can get rid of this concussion animation by overriding it with a flashbang. So we'll see what that looks like. So I'm going to do strafe jump, flashbang, turn around. I got concussed. I used my flashbang to overwrite the concussion. And now I have all my movement back immediately. Now we're able to run all the way to the showers in the gulag, which is the most difficult portion of maybe the entire run, as it is super easy to die. Just keep jumping down here. Switch to your AR, breach this wall. And this is another slow motion sequence, so remember to shoot and reload. Now your goal here is to just get past these guys without dying. There's going to be a bunch of riot shielders that come around this corner. So you want to be using your grenade launcher to shoot them. Oops. Again, we're at gulag showers. Shoot, reload. Run past all these enemies. Grenade launcher, these riot shielders. And then we're able to jump down this hole and go to the end of the level. You can throw a flashbang if that's easier for you in the gulag showers. I just tend to run through, as the longer you stick there, the more difficult it gets. Now this is our final breach sequence. We can't skip the slow motion, so while we're here, we're just going to shoot a grenade launcher there. We'll open these windows, so we can take a little bit of a tighter line later on. Yeah, that's basically gulag. It was a lot. Take in. It is going to do some, take some practice. Gonna go through this window that we broke and just run to the end of this tunnel. Your movement speed is heavily reduced here, so you can't really strafe jump as fast as you normally think you can. But once we get past this doorway here, the tunnel's gonna collapse. Then we're gonna turn around and go into the cafeteria. You come over here to this little thing and hold interact. The level will finish itself. Just keep holding interact for the rest of the level, and you can just kind of chill. will speed up the section as we have no more influence over it. But yes, after we go through this little sequence, since we're still holding interact, we're going to teleport to the rope and finish the level. This doesn't actually save time, but it's just stopping you from having to come pick it up. Alright, so this is OTOA. One of the most complicated levels in the run, alongside wolverines and gulag. Starting off, we're going to switch to our pistol. And as we're coming through this area, you want to make sure you crouch all your strafe jumps so you don't bonk your head on the roof here. Come up these stairs, and we're just running inside the building up ahead. There's nothing fancy outside here. It's all movement. It's okay if you have a little bit bad movement, as nothing really matters in this section. But being faster here will lead to a faster time at the end of the level. We're going to keep straight jumping over here. If you're feeling a bit fancy, you can do a bunny hop on this barricade to get over that. Climb these a little bit faster. We're going to continue running. Now up ahead is a very dangerous section. We're going to shoot this window, and there can potentially be a lot of enemy spawns that are going to block you from progressing here. I'm going to shoot this guy, grenade launcher up here, and just try to run past those enemies. I'm going to reload my grenade launcher, shoot this enemy on the balcony, and then continue our way upstairs. The reason why I shot that enemy on the balcony is to potentially extend some dialogue here for some more leniency. Alright. Now that we're approaching the 5th floor, once we pass the doorway, a long sequence of dialogue is going to occur, and our goal is to clear the crow's nest as fast as possible without damaging enemies with bullets or direct impacting them with weapons like flashbangs and grenades. Again, as we cross this doorway, we're going to try to rush the crow's nest and clear that immediately without damaging any other enemies that are not in the crow's nest with bullets, in order to stack some dialogue and complete this section a little bit faster. I'll show you what a good attempt at that looks like. I'm going to go through here, come around here, and hopefully if you get lucky enough, enemies will not be blocking you here, and you can just run past them. I'm going to go on top of this doorway and do a strafe jump through this hole. Grenade launcher to that side of the wall, shoot this enemy, and if it all went well, we won't get some additional all hunter units dialogue talking about how he sees enemies in the crow's nest, which we did get. Now we're going to be planting some claymores. These claymores are to destroy enemies that spawn in later on. One more here, and another claymore here. If you're fast enough, you're able to hop on top of this sniper without fully telling you to, and start shooting all the enemies out here. After we kill all these enemies, groups of enemies are going to spawn on our claymores behind us. Hopefully no enemies ran into them, and we're able to start this section immediately after those claymores go off. The Foley's about to say some dialogue where he says negative, negative. Now on the second negative, you want to be shooting your javelin at one of these BTRs down below, and then you're going to shoot your next 2 javelins on whatever you want. And that should finish this section within 3 javelins, where you get a objective complete in the top left. Yeah, he said the next negative, so I'm going to shoot. If you shoot too soon, you will have to shoot an additional javelin. So make sure you don't shoot on the first negative. Alright, so now that I got all 3 of these vehicles, I should get the objective completed, and I can finish the rest of the level. And we'll just show what the movement looks like here, and then we'll go back and look at some things that can possibly go wrong. Come up here, just do some strafe jumps over here. Your movement doesn't matter too much here, but you do just want to get on top here generally as fast as you can. So now we're waiting for this helicopter to touch down, and then we'll be able to enter it. Once you enter the helicopter, we're going to be going through a very long waiting sequence. In the speedrun, if you need to take a bathroom break or do anything, this is the time to do it. You have no influence over the game until we boot up contingency next. All right, so that's what the level should look like. Let's go back and see some things that can go wrong. Now, when things go wrong on this level, honestly, it's not too bad. It's mostly just time loss and nothing major happens. And it's just getting additional dialogue. So now that we're upstairs, these are some things that can go wrong. Enemy can be in this doorway and block you like this. And in order to get past that guy, you kind of have to melee him. Hopefully that doesn't really happen in your runs. But we'll just melee these guys. And if we're still fast enough, we might actually be able to get good dialogue here. Let's see. Looks like we did. Nice. Once you enter upstairs, if you're too slow to clear the crow's nest, or you have to shoot enemies like this to get past them, you will get additional dialogue that will slow down everything just by a little bit. And that additional dialogue is where Foley says he has a visual on the crow's nest. Now, this isn't run ending. You're just losing a couple seconds due to bad dialogue. So you might as well just continue the run and put down your claymores. Again, the claymores look something like this. In order to plant claymores quickly, the way it works is that this is what a normal claymore plant looks like. You have to wait for it to come back out. But if you hold reload and then plant it, you get a fast claymore. And so now that we went through all that dialogue, we're going to hop on the sniper and continue everything like we did before. Again, if you are slow or you get additional dialogue, it doesn't really matter too much. Just keep doing everything as you normally would. Just losing a couple seconds due to not skipping dialogue. Alright, after you finish up the lengthy cutscene at the end of OTOA, we're now moving on to Act 3. The start of contingency, you want to be holding forward and sprint. And we're going to be making our way to this group of enemies up ahead. Now, in order to make Price move fast through this level, we want to be detected. What we're going to do here is shoot all these enemies but one. I'm going to leave that guy alive. When I get detected, I'm going to turn around and shoot him. And then go ahead and reload my rifle. And continue strafe jumping across this bridge. There's some enemies coming outside of these jeeps. So we're going to go ahead and shoot them. And then shoot these guys. If you get unlucky, that vehicle behind you will be lit on fire. And Price will not pass it. And in that case, he would just destroy that. But since that vehicle was not lit on fire, we can continue on with the rest of this level. Now from here on out, contingency is basically a movement level. Now I got lucky there, and I got a grenade launcher pickup. This next sequence is going to be 4 enemies to the right side of us that we want to kill. Now, you can use your grenade launcher here, but in case you don't get that, what you need to do is use your silenced weapon, be that the pistol or the MK14, and just shoot them all. And hopefully if you do it fast enough, Price will say good, and you can continue on. Now you want to be taking this line where you stick to the left side of these trees. Then we're going to run up this hill, turn left, and then continue running straight up it. If you don't make it on top of this hill, there is a chance that you just fall back down and run into a bunch of enemies, which gets Price detected. And it causes him to slow down quite a bit. Now this next sequence can be completed in a couple different ways. Generally for my runs, I just run past everybody here. But other runners will be killing all the enemies in this area right here. Not only does it make it a little bit safer, but it also makes it so Price has to deal with less randomness once he starts coming down that hill that we just slid down. So now that I slid past all those enemies, I'm going to be picking up this RPG and this LMG in front of me. And then making my way into the base. Now because I didn't kill anyone, we're going to be reaching the spawn cap. So there's not going to be many enemies that are in this base blocking me. Let's run through that again since I messed up. So again, you can run past all these enemies here. Or kill them, depending on what you want. But if you do kill them, you will run into a bunch of enemies. Pick up the RPG, pick up the LMG, and continue into the base. Some people use their Predator missile on this helicopter and BTR. I generally tend not to. I just continue running through the base. Gonna use my RPG on this truck. And I'm gonna be running all the way to this guard tower up ahead. What I do is, once I get to the guard tower, the BTR and helicopter will automatically be destroyed. I'm gonna chill back here, shoot some enemies, not get killed by that grenade, and pull my Predator missile and destroy this Jeep that is right on the ground right here. Now we need to hop on top of this guard tower. There's a trigger up here that allows you to finish the level. From here, we just need to kill every single enemy in the base. Looks like we're clear on this side. So we're going to make our way over here. Always check your minimap for any red dots that you might need to get rid of. Because I left all those enemies alive over there, I got no spawns here. Come over here, grab an RPG, shoot these two trucks. And make sure you follow this route here when you're backtracking, or else you'll spawn additional enemies. I'm going to pull my pred and shoot two vehicles that spawn here. You can see the red dots. Those two vehicles are destroyed. There are no longer any enemies on the map with this route. This is generally why I choose to do this route, as it makes the base clear very easy, but it makes it so price can be a little bit more random. After you clear everyone over there, go on top of the guard tower, destroy all the vehicles. We're going to start backtracking in the level because there's going to be some dialogue that occurs over there, and if we're far enough away, that dialogue will not happen. We're going to go into our Predator missile and wait for price to get into the sub, and also make sure there's no enemies alive using your pred. It's like there's nothing here, so we're good to just stay in the pred just to make sure there's no enemies. Now that price is in the sub, our Predator missile will be destroyed, just like that, and we can continue backtracking in the level. Now at this point, we're far enough away to where nothing else really matters. The level will just eventually end, as long as you're not close enough to Ghost and the rest of your teammates to get all that dialogue. Eventually price will say good, and that will be the end of contingency. I'll show a couple the alternate clear that you can do. So when you're coming down this hill, you can grab this A12 and this LMG and come this way. This is what the full clear looks like. So if you don't want to run past those enemies, you can just do this instead. Okay, now that they're all dead, we're going to continue like we did last time. Instead, what we're going to do here is use our Predator missile to destroy the helicopter and the BTR by aiming it at about right here. Should destroy both. Now we need to kill every single enemy in this base, or as many as we possibly can, to make it so price gets through here smoothly. You know, it looks something like this. It has been a while since I've done this strat, so I am just trying to do my best for what I used to do. Just shooting everyone. Alright, now we're going to continue to the guard tower. Lots of enemies there. I am just going to go run past them. We're going to come back here, wait in this corner. There's going to be a Jeep that spawns over there. And we're going to destroy that with a Predator missile. Just like that. And now we need to go on top of the guard tower. Very important. Make sure you do this. You need to go on top here to finish the level. Gonna look over here and just kill as many enemies as possible. Make sure you're always checking your minimap for red dots. There's a lot of enemies over there. Hopefully my teammates take care of them, because I need to start heading in this direction to destroy these vehicles that are coming through this area. There's another RPG here if you need ammo, so pick that up. And just go ahead and shoot enemies while you wait for these vehicles to spawn. 1, 2. And again, make sure you follow this line to avoid spawning additional vehicle. Pull our pred. Wait for the 2 trucks to come through this place right here. Just like that. Those 2 trucks are destroyed. Price should be on his way to the sub. That's what the clear looks like for clearing the base itself. don't normally do this route, so that was a bit of a scuffed example, but it should look something like that. Now we are on to Second Sun. Now, Second Sun is very long waiting. It's basically just a lot of waiting. This entire first cutscene is just waiting to go into space for another cutscene and then coming back, and then we gain movement. So I am, for the sake of the tutorial, just going to speed up through this entire sequence. Make sure you look to the right of the Earth here, and you will see this thing. Just look at this, and that's the fastest way to get through this portion of the level. After we get sent back down to Earth, our buddy over here, Sandler, will open up the helicopter and allow us to continue through the level. Thanks, Sandler. Just take this line to get inside this building up ahead. As long as you're, you know, relatively fast enough, you won't run into any issues. All you have to do is just make sure you run inside here quick enough. And now we're just stuck waiting for our teammates. Again, this is just a really, really long waiting sequence. We're waiting for Foley to open this door for us. At this time, we should get all of our ammunition back. We have our grenade launcher. Make sure you reload that. And our pistol. After Foley takes a dive here, he will open this door for us and we can continue on with the rest of the level. Now at this point, we are now waiting again for a significant amount of time. Eventually, you will have a teammate come through this door up ahead, and then we're able to enter inside. While we wait for a teammate, I will once again be doing a little bit of time scale here. Now he's coming out. He's going to go talk to our boys down there. Go ahead and refill your ammo if you need any. Now, eventually, our teammates will say some dialogue, and it's going to spawn some enemies in this room. So let's keep looking here. You heard the man, let's go. Now all these enemies spawn in here. You don't want to kill all of them. Really, all I care about is this guy here. Which he's now dead. And there's an enemy around this corner. Let me show exactly where he is. He's right here. Now this guy can be a bit of an issue once we go through this doorway. So what I do to take care of him is use a grenade launcher. And shoot at the boat there. And he should be dead. Oh, I missed it. Let me try that again. Shoot at the boat. Excuse me, done. Here. Now he should be dead. And again, you only want to kill this guy and this guy, because if you kill all the people in this room, you're just going to get more spawns later on. So we just take care of those two guys as they are the most dangerous. So one more time. Kill that guy just to make sure we got him. Shoot another one. Now all of our teammates are going to come up here and group up with us. And we're able to go through this next section. This can be very scary. It's very easy to die here. But here's generally how we clear this. We're going to run through here, switch to our grenade launcher, do a bunny hop over this desk, shoot that back wall, switch to our AR, and just clear the rest of these enemies. And our pistol if we need to. Again, super easy to die there. So let me run through that one more time. Grenade launcher, bunny hop over the desk, and just shoot everyone, and just continue running past them. We are going to want to reload our grenade launcher. We'll do that after we get over this ledge and these guys on top of the tank die. There's going to be a big group of enemies over here that we need to take care of. I will reload my primary. I'm going to do my grenade launcher shot here behind the bus, and then just kill these two guys. Make sure no one's in last stand. Looks like we're good. And as long as you're fast enough, all you really need to do now is just get inside. And eventually your teammates will teleport to you. We're just going to chill down here. And make sure all your weapons are reloaded. Because the next level is Whiskey Hotel. And it's actually a direct continuation of Second Son. So no matter what like your weapon magazines and everything are, you will carry that over into the next level. And also what weapon you happen to be reloading at the time. Or holding at the time, sorry. So I like holding my pistol at the start of Whiskey Hotel. I'm going to be holding it as I transition into the loading sequence. Eventually our teammates are going to be down here after they teleport to us, open this door, and we can continue on to Whiskey Hotel. Alright. And Whiskey Hotel is yet another quite complicated level. There's a couple variations that can happen based on what Foley does here with you. So our goal is to delay Foley to make him take a long time to meet up with our teammates up ahead. And the way we're going to accomplish that is with some grenades. I'll show what the safer strat is generally considered as, and a couple strats we do for the individual level. Oops. This is what we do for any percent. This is a little bit slower, but we're going to throw a grenade here to make Foley run back. Run over here. And once we see Foley moving, throw another grenade. And then we're just going to be doing strafe jumps all the way into the Oval Office. Your movement does need to be kind of fast here in order to get the full skip. So we'll see what full skip looks like. You want to put your grenade launcher, shoot here to kill most of the enemies blocking you. Once you enter the Oval Office, Foley will do either one of two things. Here, he teleported all the way back to the start of the level. This is known as half skip. And this is a little bit slower than full skip. Generally, you're just kind of praying Foley makes it slow at the start to get full skip, but we got a little bit unlucky. As you can see, he teleported back, and we can continue on with the level. I'll show you what full skip looks like, what we do in any percent. So I'm going to do 2 strafe jumps, turn around, throw a grenade, and then go through the rest of the level really quickly. So if you're fast enough, and you get a good grenade, which makes Foley go prone instead of just crouch and take cover, we're able to perform full skip. Grenade launcher that. Strafe jump over here. Go inside the Oval Office. And when Foley gets here, he will not teleport away. And that is the indicator that you got full skip. So we're going to go ahead and reload our striker that we picked up from an enemy or whatever weapon you can find. Reload our grenade launcher. We're going to go through this door. Strafe jump, grenade launcher. Just try to run past these guys. Shoot everyone in this hallway we can so we don't die. And then right here is a trigger that kills all the enemies in this area. Now eventually Foley will come meet up with us and open this door. And the difference between full skip and half skip is that he's just a little slower to this door. Now something I want to mention is that if you're too slow on this clear here and running all the way to the end, what's going to happen on full skip is that Foley will just teleport away. Just like that. Now Foley's gone all the way to the start of the level again. And now we have to wait for him to open this door. So if you get full skip or half skip, make sure you run all the way to the end as fast as you can after using your first grenade launcher, or else you have to wait for him to come all the way back around and open this door for us. This is what it looks like when you're fast enough. Grenade launcher. Run past all these enemies. Try to shoot everybody. Oops. This is what it looks like again when you go fast enough. Grenade launcher here. Try to run past everybody. And as long as you're like fast enough, Foley should not teleport away. And we can go over here to hit the kill trigger, and Foley will come catch up to us. I'm going to switch to my striker here, or whatever my secondary happens to be. Once this door opens and fully kicks it, we're going to shoot this enemy, run past these two guys, and just sprint up this little pillar here, shoot this back wall. Now I'm going to go up here, throw a grenade in this corner to break open this window, walk up here to hit a trigger. Now that this window is broken, we can actually jump out of bounds. And just like on contingency, where we ran away from our teammates to skip dialogue, we are doing the exact same thing here on this level. By running away out of bounds, we're able to skip dialogue to finish the level a little bit quicker. The game will prompt you to pop your flare, but you really don't have to do that. It does not matter. Yeah, make sure you just don't drop off this ledge. This is all fake ground, and it will kill you. That's Whiskey Hotel. Alright, so now we're moving on to the loose ends. Push to your pistol and jump down this hill. Up ahead, a bunch of bouncing betties are going to go off. And you need to go prone in order to not die to these bouncing betties. And as we're going prone, we're going to throw this flashbang. Since we're going to be concussed, just like on Gulag and Team Player, this flashbang will overwrite the concussion and allow us to gain full control a little bit sooner than normal. And now we're just going to make our way to the estate. You could ignore all the enemies out here as they don't really matter. Run up this hill. And then this is how the estate clear should generally look. Make sure you reload, cancel the slow-mo on this breach. Shoot this guy, switch to your grenade launcher, shoot this floor, shoot this room, breach this door. After this door is breached, shoot the grenade launcher in this room. Come downstairs, grenade launcher this whiteboard. This room, come downstairs, grenade launcher that. This guy is unlucky. So we'll switch to our assault rifle and grenade launcher him like that. We're grenade launcher that shower room just like that. Turn around and shoot this guy on the ground. Then make sure you try to breach this doorway as you're still in the slow motion for the previous doorway. Shoot these two guys, and that should be basement clear. Now we didn't get any dialogue, but basement is clear. Top floor is clear. You can sometimes get unlucky and someone will still be alive up here. So you just have to come up and manually clear it. That is basically the entirety of Loose Ends. Now this may be the longest level in the entire run, but it sort of has like the shortest gameplay of the entire run as well. Now you want to pick up this WA 2K and reload your grenade launcher ammo. Now that we're waiting for Shepard's dialogue to finish, we have to go plant the ACS to start stealing some data. After we do that, we'll go plant some claymores downstairs to prevent enemies from coming to destroy the ACS. Alright, now that we planted that, we're going to go downstairs and plant some claymores. Now, once you plant these claymores, you generally never want to come back downstairs because you can die to your own claymores. And that is one awful way for the run to end. Doesn't really matter how you plant these, as long as you just use them all down here. Alright, good enough. Now this entire sequence is an auto-scroller. It doesn't matter how quickly you kill all these enemies. But if you want to get a better view of all of them, what you can do is mantle this, hop on here, and go to the roof. Now we can see most of the entire map. I have enemies spawning over here. I'll go ahead and just shoot them. Now there is no way to save time in this section. Just try to make sure you kill most of the enemies and don't let the ACS get destroyed. Don't wander too far away from the ACS either, as that is also a way to fail this mission. Alright. Now that the ACS is almost done, I'll show you the movement line to finish this level out. Almost there. Make sure you hold interact. As soon as you pick it up, strafe jump, do a bunny hop off of this, and just continue going straight to the end. You want to follow this line to the end. We're going to be hitting the trigger from the right side, as it is generally 1 second faster than going to hit the left side of the trigger down there. You don't want to jump too far to where you get fall damage and reduce movement speed. Just go for this tree, and that is loose ends. From here on out, you have no influence over the game, and that is the end of the level. Now we're going to go into a pretty fun level. This is the enemy of my enemy. All this level is movement. You're just running straight to the end. Sort of what it should look like. You don't need to do anything fancy here. You can just strafe jump straight to the end. It's very straightforward. Any bunny hops you do here are just for fun. Nothing really matters here. Sometimes an enemy can come around this corner here like that. Just make sure you shoot him. You don't get hit by him. This plane is a little bit tricky to navigate through. I usually toggle down my FPS so I don't get stuck there. If you're feeling fancy, you can go for a bunny hop on the blue barrel here, but I missed it. I'm not going to bother to go for an attempt where I get it. With some more movement. Make sure you don't die from this SUV up ahead. And just hop into the vehicle. And at this point, the level is an auto-scroller up until the end. So I will just speed through that. And as you can see, we don't have to shoot anyone, do anything. This level will just complete itself. Once we get up to the plane with Nikolai, eventually our driver here, Rook, will die. And then we gain control of the wheel. And for this, you just want to hold forward and navigate your way into the plane. And that would be the enemy of my enemy. One of the shortest levels in the entire run. Yeah, just like that. That's the end of the level. And now we're on to just like old times. Now, the first part of this level is quite important to get properly. I'm going to shoot the one person who's alone to the right of the Humvee with the sniper. And then we're going to shoot everyone else, but leave one non-dog alive. So, make sure you get rid of the dogs. Once you hear the dialogue, then you can kill the last guy. And hopefully, if you timed it right, Price will not stop on this rock, or he won't stop on this road. And he will just come straight to the end, and you can start your rappel down here. If you do mistime it, he will take little breaks on the rock and in the center of the road. And you will lose just a little bit of time. But at this point, just make sure you hold melee. Once you get down here, you stab these guys immediately. Now that we're on this section, there are a couple ways to go through this end of the level. What I do is I pick up this AT4 here, which is essentially an RPG that I'm going to use later on. Look down. I'm up here. If you look down, those enemies just despawn on top of the staircase. And the same thing is with all the enemies out here. There are a bunch of enemies out here. If you just look down, they're all gone. Don't know why that's the thing, but it is. Just gonna go out here onto this area. Make sure you kill all 3 enemies here and no one's in the last stand. I'll pick up this MG here and continue on. Now this sequence is a little bit difficult. What we're going to do is not get stuck like that. I'm gonna hop over this barricade. Come here. Aim the AT4 to the back of the group and hopefully you kill most of them. Unfortunately, I still have additional enemies here. But you can just manually get rid of them all and then breach this. You have to clear every enemy in that area before you can breach, reload, cancel, sprint, and then shoot the rest of the enemies in here. That is JLOT. Now we just have to wait for this interact to pop up and we can finish the level. We have that. We can sprint through this door. And go through here. I'm just waiting for this short cutscene to end. After we gain control, there are 2 branching paths, left and right. Really doesn't matter which path you do. I choose to take the left path in my runs, as it's just slightly faster. I'll showcase what that looks like here. Bunny hop down this hill. Gonna jump on top this crate, right here, on top the ammo box, and right across, just like that. From here, you just straight jump left, and we're on to the final level, which is endgame. Now for endgame, you can get on the boat a little bit faster if you just run down here and then strafe jump to the boat. And now we are going through this long driving sequence with Price chasing after Shepard. Oh, I got shot by an RPG and sent right into the corner. You gotta be careful. RPGs can definitely mess up your line like that. That is a perfect example of what can go wrong. It's a lot like Cliffhanger with the helicopter that shoots missiles at your snowmobile. Sometimes you get good boosts, sometimes you get bad boosts. It's really up to fate at this point of the run. And obviously everyone loves to run end their speedruns with gambles like this. That RPG was nice to us as it did nothing. Generally for the boat, you do want to keep just in a straight line so you maintain your maximum velocity. As you see, I'm just holding forward and I am gaining a lot of velocity here, whereas if I keep turning left and right, my boat slows down significantly. So just try to stay in a straight line if you can. Sometimes these enemy boats can push you into walls. Just be mindful of that. Come around this bend here. Again, try to keep a straight line. And then coming up ahead is an incredibly infuriating portion. These are rapids. Now, depending on how you go down these rapids, you'll either have a good time or a bad time. You want to try stay in the middle here while you ride down. Hopefully, we don't crash into any walls here. You can lose a lot of time. In my any percent runs, I always lose a significant amount of time through these rapids at the very end of the run. Alright. Coming up is a bit dangerous section. There is an RPG and a helicopter that can shoot you and insta-kill you. Hopefully that doesn't happen in your run, but it's usually that guy there. I got a good boost. It's very nice. Gonna try to cut in this corner. Here's where the RPG and helicopter can kill you. Looks like we're good. They're just gonna come around this corner, take a left turn, and just continue down to the bottom of this waterfall. Nothing you can really do here to influence. Just keep holding forward and go all the way down. Alright. So we're going to be gaining control. And in this section, we actually don't have access to sprint. So we're going to be doing a different movement method than what we normally been doing. So this is called zigzagging. The way it works is you're going to hold forward and alternate between left and right on your movement keys. And if you do that, you move slightly faster than if you were to just hold forward and not alternate your movement keys left and right. So just keep going forward. Eventually, Shepard will come around this corner up ahead. We're going to be knife lunging Shepard to keep up with him. If you mess up your knife lunges, you just have to go catch up to him and walk manually. But if you time it right, if you knife him about right now... Oh, that was not timed right. So in this instance, I now have to chase after Shepard. Go knife him later. But if you time your lunges properly, you're able to just keep up with him. So let's try that again. Knife, 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 and you'll keep trying to lunge at him. You're able to stay right behind him on pace. Let's do one more knife, and then we start another scene here before the end of the run. So after Price comes here and kick Shepard out of the way. We have to start doing crawl animation by alternating between left mouse button and right mouse button to go pick up this revolver. Make sure you remember to do that. Left, right. Just like cliffhanger with the ice picks. So after we fade in and out of consciousness here about 3 times, we now have to do the knife pull animation. And the way it works is that you want to click interact at roughly about 10 times a second for the optimal knife pull. Some people use 60 FPS here. I just choose to use 250. But this knife pull can definitely vary by upwards of like 5 or so seconds. It's actually crazy how much time can be lost here. Yeah, just try to do as close as you can to 10 clicks per second. And eventually the knife will be pulled. And you can give it back to Shepard through his eye socket. And in the speedrun, time ends when you click mouse 1. Just like that. Right. Now that we went through all that, you should be generally familiar with the route. So hopefully you can start performing any percent runs yourself. And if you have any feedback, please let me know. Thanks for watching this tutorial, and good luck on your runs. Bye!